Banff has been in existence for 130 years as part of the national park, as part of Banff National Park. But 25 years ago and previous to that, the municipality was governed completely by the federal government, by Ottawa. So it was very hard to make local decisions when all decisions needed to go back to Ottawa. So there was a movement from the local residents to have some autonomy and become a municipality within a national park.
Well, for many years, people in the town had talked about self-government, and there had been pushes in the past to try to accomplish this. My recollection is about 65% for, 35% against. Okay. You know, these days we might say, oh, well, it's a no-brainer, self-government, it's better. But at that time, there was a lot of concern about what self-government would mean. So there was a substantial minority opposed. But in the 1980s, Parks Canada decided that it might be good for them, as well as for the townspeople, to have the town be self-governing. At that time, the superintendent was spending 40% of his or her time on townsite issues, and so it made sense to have a town that could do the normal town things and let the park staff concentrate on the park things. And once both sides were interested in making it happen, then it came along actually surprisingly quickly. But the first little while was kind of strange because we were doing all sorts of things for the first time. And I remember really clearly, because it seems so random, the first bylaw we had to pass was one about the pasteurization of milk. And I had no idea. I didn't know that each municipality has to pass a bylaw to require milk to be pasteurized. And it just seemed like such a strange thing to do. But there were things like that. There were, it was a matter of getting used to a municipal way of doing things.
I think some of our challenges are similar to 25 years ago. We continue to work on our challenges. Housing is a challenge, traffic flow is a challenge, parking is a challenge, but they look a little bit different. So for instance, housing is still a challenge, but the population we have here today looks different than it did 25 years ago. Certainly in terms of traffic flow and parking, we have increased number of independent vehicles and reduced the amount of bus traffic that used to come through. So the challenges do remain the same. It's given us an opportunity to have a local voice. It's given us an opportunity to work together as a real community, and for the residents to have quite a say in their future and in the projects that we do and how we provide services and what services we provide.
Back when we first opened in '78, there was very few restaurants and very few bars. And then as the town grew, the piece of the pie got smaller and smaller, but we managed to still do well. So, the biggest change is when coming into town and all the intersections are completely different than what they used to be. So it was always kind of a thing when you came into town, you knew what corner you were on, but now they've built all these big buildings on the corners where there used to be a gas station, there's, you know, Cascade Mall now, and Wild Bill's, and like all the smaller side streets had mostly just small single-family dwellings, and that's changed to more condo types and fourplexes. Yeah.
So what was that like when Banff officially became a town?
It was exciting. We thought everything was going to be much better since the citizens were going to run the town and parks wouldn't have as much say. Mind you, they still have as much say. Yeah, I think things have worked out well.
Yes, it's a small town. It's a very unique small town because we have wonderful restaurants, we have fabulous concerts, we have all of these things that a town of 8,000 doesn't normally have. But fundamentally, it's a town of 8,000. And you see it at the post office, which I'm so glad we still have. You go to the post office or you go to the grocery store, you see a ton of people that you know, you hear all the gossip, and it's that kind of a town. It's a small town.
I think for me personally, it's just been the true pleasure and privilege of actually being able to call Banff home and to raise my family here.